Turning to jailing CEOs, a proposal from Senator Elizabeth Warren would make it a federal crime for corporate executives to negligently permit or fail to prevent violations of the law at their companies. Joining us right now is Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, good to see you.
Good morning.
No surprise from Elizabeth Warren. She wants CEOs in jail.
No surprise. It's a surprise from a former professor of law at Harvard, but it is no surprise from Elizabeth Warren. I mean, this would be a radical departure from the very basic requirement that crime is harm intentionally caused. She wants to make it a criminal act for a corporate executive to commit an act of negligence. Now, to be fair, there are certain crimes that you can commit with gross negligence, one of which, interestingly, is the failure to safeguard state secrets, the Hillary Clinton email scandal. The repeated use of that, the intentionally looking the other way, can constitute a crime. What Senator Warren wants is for simple negligence, which is like exceeding the speed limit by 5 or 10 miles an hour. Stated differently, any crime committed on the watch of any corporate executive, a crime committed by a low-level functionary in a corporation that employs, let's say, 250,000 people, would make the corporate head, the CEO, liable for prosecution on the grounds of simple negligence, not on the grounds that he knew about it and did nothing, not on the grounds that he willfully looked away, but on the grounds that he was simply negligent. And there's no precedent for that in American law. It would radically change law from a tort. I pulled the chair out from Jonathan and failed to tell him I pulled it out, and he hurts himself. That's a tort. If I did it intentionally, it's a crime.
So just out of curiosity, would this be sort of discriminatory? I know that sounds odd, but would the next thing be that parents are held guilty, but their kid, if they're not paying attention to their children and they do something? I mean, how can you single out a profession?
It's very difficult to do that and be consistent with the requirement of equal protection. So just to take a class of people whom you hate, for reasons best known only to her, she hates, and make it easier to prosecute them when similar behavior committed by others is not prosecutable because she doesn't hate them is a profound violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution. I really don't think this gets passed. I really don't think it survives judicial scrutiny, but I think it generates her base, Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, she promotes it. I mean,
what base? She almost has
whatever,
base.
Whatever base she thinks she has.
Yeah, what's the base?
It's just tremendous that, Elizabeth Warren would have you think that CEOs, successful CEOs, are the problem in this country. They're too rich, they're too powerful, but they're the ones, Judge, to your point, that are producing the wealth, that are bringing these companies forward. What worries me is, as you said, a low-level subordinate makes an error, does something wrong, and you're going to put the CEO in jail?
No, but she clearly has a bee in her bonnet, as many Democrats do, that nobody went to jail over the 2008 financial crisis. They won't take responsibility for the mistakes made by politicians and lawmakers and the rules that were on the books and the role that the government played and these individual politicians played in encouraging people to speculate on housing.
That's a great
observation. They're very, very angry that to name names, that the heads of these investment banks that went under are not in prison.
So that goes to Liz.
They talked about that in the hearing the other day too.
That goes to Liz's argument about the slippery slope. I mean, does this apply to government officials? Does this apply to the people that ran Fannie and Freddie that caused the 2008 crash as well? Or does it just apply to people that make more than $25 million a year as CEOs?
What about deceiving voters by perhaps lying about your racial origin or your background of your own history?
See where this will go. Do we really want the government prosecuting every single misstep caused that happens up here, and you're going to blame it down here? You're going to blame it on somebody up here.
Well, this is all about 2020, right? The Democratic campaign is shifting into high gear tonight. In fact, 5 candidates are holding hour-long town halls. Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, and Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, all set to pitch their ideas tonight, which for a couple of them lean toward socialism. Here's J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon on socialism last week.
It doesn't work. It actually gives less and less to people over time. It becomes corrupt. And so people should be very clear when they say it. Isn't, oh, we'll run the companies. And look at some of these countries. It's been a disaster.
You know, it's interesting because they try to say that they're not socialist. They don't like the moniker of socialism, but these programs are socialist. Well, big, gigantic federal programs like Medicare for All and the Green New Deal.
We have been marching in this direction since LBJ and the Great Society, arguably since FDR. They want to take it one step further, and free college, jobs for everybody, health care for everybody, Green New Deal. They just don't care about the cost. They'll mortgage the future even more so than it's already been mortgaged.
Well, the hospital trust fund in Medicare, I'm going to say this until I am blue in the face, purple in the face. It runs out of money in 7 years. 91 cents on the dollar, that's what the benefits will be paid with the tax revenue coming in to fund Medicare. So why are they not focused on basically saving Medicare for the seniors who need it, and instead of expanding it when we haven't paid for the original one in the first place?
Do you remember when Brett Baer at the town hall meeting for Bernie Sanders said, how many in this room want Medicare? This is a Fox audience. How many people in this room
and they all
want
raised their hand.
Medicare for all? And they raised their hands. When you give away free stuff, when the public treasury becomes a public trough, people will only send representatives to Washington who will promise to give away the store.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, Judge, good to see you.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much. Andrew Napolitano.